Hello and welcome back to Lisa Lives. How many videos can I do in a day? I've just done my Ancestry DNA one and now I'm going to do my what I watched in September. I realise it's only the 29th, but I don't think I'm going to be watching any movies over the next couple of nights because I'm fixatedly watching I'm not sure what channel it's from, a show called The Resident, which is like a medical drama. I am a big fan of Grey's Anatomy. I can't get enough of medical drama, so I'm now watching The Resident. So that will probably be my viewing for the next few nights. So let's get kicked off with what I've watched on. Let's find the old screen recorder. Can you tell me in the comments if you don't find the list of things useful? Let me know and I just won't bother doing it. Okay, so here we are, on to the 4th of September would be the first day I watched a movie in this month. And this one is on Netflix, as are most of the movies that I watch. This one was called Room. And I thoroughly enjoyed this one. I think I gave it 4 stars out of 5, which is very high. This is a story about a young woman that lives in an enclosed room, environment, soundproofed. It's actually a shed, with her young son. And she has been kidnapped as a young girl by this man, and basically he has fathered a child to her. He has never known anything else, this poor child, and they are trapped in this room together, and it's about their life, about their attempt to escape, and just everything surrounding what they're going through, and the little boy, and what it says here is, Jack is a young boy of 5 years old who has lived all his life in one room. He believes everything within it are the only real things in the world, but what will happen when his ma suddenly tells him that there are other things outside of the room? So he thinks that trees aren't real. He thinks that everything in the world is inside that room. So yeah, it's really, really good. I would thoroughly recommend that. On the 5th I watched Bill and Ted Face the Music. This is obviously the new Bill and Ted, why is that, movie. Now obviously I'm of an age where the first 2 movies I was big fans of. I think it's a big nostalgia thing for me, and you know, being into rock and the silliness that it brought to everything I loved. They're great in this. Their daughters are amazing. The story brings them to a position where, to save the world, they must, as wild stallions, come up with the best song in the world, basically, and it's going to save the world. And their daughters are in this, and the daughters are just like Bill and Ted when they were young guys. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not going to win any massive awards. This is extremely silly. There is a robot in this sent to kill Bill and Ted, who's my favourite character by far. I think he's so funny. It's a fun watch, and it may just be for fans of that genre, fans of the original, because I think it may be a little bit too silly for people that don't get where we're coming from. So don't go out to watch it and think you're going to watch something amazingly, astoundingly fantastic. It's very much in a similar vein to the other movies. But yeah, I enjoyed it for what it was. 5. Cursed Films. Right, this is a series. This is really good, and for all the people on my subscriptions list that are still there, that are fans of horror, this is a documentary which follows movies that are supposedly cursed. We've got The Omen, Poltergeist, The Crow, trying to think, Exorcist, movies that dabbled in things that perhaps people felt they should not have been dabbling in. It did give a really interesting fact about Bruce Lee's family and about potential ties to a curse of every male in the family. It was really, really weird. But yeah, if you're into horror movies and you're interested in the whole cursed potential of horror movies, check that out. It's really good. On the 6th I watched Dinner for Schmucks, which I had seen before. When I saw the actual video cover, this is on Netflix also, I thought I have to have seen this. Steve Carell's in it, and Ant-Man, Lisa, Paul Rudd. I have to have seen it before, but it wasn't ringing any bells, so I watched it. This is a story about a group of executives, of which Paul Rudd is one, wanting to climb up the ranks, and to impress his boss when he's invited to a very fancy party dinner sort of thing that he's not normally invited to, he has to go. And the deal is they must invite the most pathetic, ridiculous, laughable, fool schmuck as their guest. And it's who can pick the most laughable schmuck that is going to win the prize. And this is where Steve Carell comes in. And I love Steve Carell's character so much in this. He is a taxidermist of little mice. This sounds gross, but he makes models with the little mice that just, oh, just melt my heart. They're so beautiful. All these different little scenes he makes with little mice. So cute. But he finds them, he doesn't kill mice, he finds them like dead or on the road or whatever. But this story is a story about Paul Rudd's failing relationship, about his growing friendship with Steve Carell's character, and about this dinner party, the schmuck dinner party. Okay, so my recorder switched off, God only knows where, I was talking too much. So Dinner for Schmucks, thoroughly enjoyed it, I gave it 4 out of 5, really liked it. On the same night I watched Sputnik as recommended by Arnon from Screen Stars. Trying to remember it. Ah yes. So this is a Russian sci-fi movie. At the height of the Cold War, a Soviet spacecraft crash lands after a mission gone awry, leaving the commander as its only survivor. After a renowned Russian psychologist is brought in to evaluate the commander's mental state, it becomes clear that something dangerous may have come back to Earth with him. This is a horror, sci-fi, creepy. I enjoyed it. I thought it's not on the same level as Alien, obviously, or Aliens, but it's a nice little sci-fi. It's a surprising little sci-fi. I enjoyed it, and I'm not a big fan of that genre. I do like horror sci-fi, or if it's a sci-fi that's amazing, like The Abyss or Alien or Aliens or things, but as a whole, I don't tend to go for that genre, and I enjoyed this movie. On the 8th, Alive. Now, this is a little hidden gem, this one. This is a movie on Netflix at the moment. If you saw a movie, I think it was last year, called The Night Eats the World, which is about like a lone survivor of an apocalypse and the only people outside are zombies. This is a very similar premise, but much, much better as far as I'm concerned. As a grisly virus rampages a city, a lone man stays locked inside his apartment, digitally cut off from seeking help and desperate to find a way out. Zombie movie, it's got a lot of heart to it, you really care about the characters. I've given away a plot spoiler. It's really good. The zombies are really like believable, it's got some great gore in it. Everything that you could want in a zombie movie. So hashtag Alive on Netflix at the moment. Oh, what have I done? What have I done? On the 12th I watched The Babysitter Killer Queen. So The Babysitter Killer Queen. I was really, really disappointed by this movie. I think because Samara Weaving's not in it that much. I think she made the first movie. The first movie I really liked. I thought it was excellent. This movie, I found it really disappointing, quite bleh. The final act did redeem it somewhat because the final act was really good, but the start and the middle I didn't care for. The characters, besides obviously Samara Weaving's character and the main character, what's the lad that plays the main character? Judah Lewis. Wasn't that interested, wasn't that bothered. So it was a disappointing one for me. On the 13th I rewatched Devil. I'm a big M. Night Shyamalan fan. I remember watching this one and not being that taken by it the first time. I love most of his movies apart from The Happening, which is just awful. So I did watch this again and I did enjoy it much more the second time than I did the first. I think I was so blown away by certain other films of M. Night Shyamalan, I was expecting just complete and utter, like, to be blown away every time, which isn't really fair. But I rewatched Devil, which is a story of a group of people in an elevator which breaks down and one of them seems to be possessed by the devil, or one person seems to be, when the lights go out, doing things or doing nasties to other people, and they're trying to figure out who it is, or is it one of them, or is it an entity, or what's happening. So pretty much most of the movie takes part inside the elevator, and there's also like security staff and police staff trying to work out who all these people within the elevator are and have they a connection and that sort of thing. Very good. On the 13th, Love Guaranteed. Oh, this is bad. This is a romantic comedy. Is it meant to be a comedy? I have no idea. Now, the only thing, the main girl in it is the young girl from She's All That. You know that teenage program where if you put your hair in a ponytail and wear glasses and no makeup, you're ugly, and all of a sudden you get a makeover and you're stunning? Yeah, well, Rachel Lee Cook is her name. She plays a solicitor that teams up with this guy, Damon Wayans Jr., who's rather dishy, it has to be said, so there was some point to watching it. He wants to sue an online dating agency because they promise true love after, is it 1,000 dates? If you haven't found true love by 1,000 dates. Well, he hasn't. He's been on all these dates. 3 a day, lunch, breakfast, lunch, dinner. And he hasn't found the right woman for him, so he wants to sue this company for promising him true love. And she takes the case because her firm are on their arse, basically, and they're going to go out of business. I think you can guess what happens. On the 17th, right, this is a TV show in the UK at the moment, Des. I give it a 4.5 out of 5. Excellent. This is a drama about Dennis Nielsen, played by the wonderful, I'm not going to say Neil Tennant, played by the wonderful David Tennant, who, oh, bellissimo. If you've ever watched Dennis Nielsen interviews, which being the sick puppy I am quite aware of his mannerisms, how he speaks, just little things about his voice. And you could be sitting watching a real Dennis Nielsen interview when you watch David Tennant play this role. He's perfect. The accent, he looks uncannily like him also. I mean, look at that picture. And there's no gore in this, there's no horribleness if that's what you're watching it for. This is all about the psyche of Dennis Nielsen, his background, why perhaps he did what he did, changes in him as a person within the period of questioning and why those changes took place. Thoroughly just fascinating viewing, fantastically acted, and David Tennant, if this was a movie, would have awards for this. Awesome. On the 18th, a new Netflix movie called The Paramedic. Yeah, I really like this one. I give it a 3.5. This one is Spanish. Unable to face his new reality in a wheelchair, Angel develops a deadly obsession with a woman who left him and unleashes a sinister revenge plot. So he lives with his beautiful girlfriend, and he basically becomes an arsehole. The guy becomes, something horrible has happened to him. He's in a wheelchair, he's been paralysed. His girlfriend is having to do everything for him, but he's not nice with it. He is not a nice guy. And eventually, enough's enough and she leaves. But that's not acceptable to him. And it's a bit of a vicious web he weaves. Well worth a watch, I really liked it. He was a paramedic, hence The Paramedic. I think it was an ambulance crash that caused the ambulance crashes at the start of the movie. Next is a series on Netflix called, this thing about Letterboxd, some series it has on there for you to document and some it doesn't, don't know why. So Challenger, the final flight, this is really interesting, obviously about the doomed Challenger flight that didn't quite make it with the teacher on board. Very sad. Anyone of my age will remember it happening, will probably have seen it happening on telly. I did. Very, very, very shocking, sobering stuff. It's all about the lead up to the actual the flight, all the ones that happened before, the choosing of the teacher, what happened, how it was hidden, how individuals end up whistleblowing about what had happened, and the fact that people knew before that space shuttle went up that the potential of what happened could have happened. They knew that and they let it go up anyway. Very, very eye-opening, interesting documentary. I think it's 4 parts, if I remember correctly, on Netflix. On the 26th, I watched the new Netflix Enola Holmes with Millie Bobby Brown, 11 from Stranger Things, who Isaac's a big fan of, so we watched it with Isaac. She is Sherlock Holmes' younger sister, and her mum played, but I can't bear her. What's her name again? Helena Bonham Carter. If you need a posh English woman in anything, a slightly eccentric posh English lady, enter Helena Bonham Carter. Maybe it's because she's in everything, it just aggravates me. She was really good in Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but anyway, that's perfect. And then again, she was really good in Sweeney Todd as well. Maybe it's just overexposure, maybe I want to see someone else. Maybe I want to see someone else star in a Rob Zombie movie apart from Moon Zombie. Nothing against her, but maybe I want to see a different face now and again. This I thoroughly enjoyed. It was fun, it was upbeat, it was, you know, a lot about female rights in here because it's said at the time when women don't have any. And I like that as a message for younger girls out there as to what they have that women before them didn't have. Still obviously a long way to go in certain respects, but I do like that they centred on that. Millie Bobby Brown's fantastic. Henry Cavill plays Sherlock Holmes. He's not in it very much, he's okay where he is. But yeah, it's a fun little movie, so yeah, I would recommend for families to watch. I enjoyed it. The 26th, the same evening, The Devil All the Time. Yeah, this was really good. This is another one on Netflix. It's quite a long one. I think it was 2 hours and 20 minutes or something like that. It's really, really hard. So what does it say? The place is called Knock'em-Stiff. In Knock'em-Stiff, Ohio and its neighbouring backwoods, sinister characters converge around young Arvin Russell as he fights the evil forces that threaten him and his family. So Tom Holland, aka obviously Spider-Man, is in this. Bill Skarsgård, who for a little bit, not that long. I mean, the actual cast in this is amazing. Robert Pattinson plays the most sleazy, slimy, horrible preacher, always nasty. This follows the story of a young boy from before his birth. It starts with his father. His father's in the military, and it follows his father home. His birth happens, he grows up, it follows his life through, his relationship with his sister, things that happen to his sister, this little town, the community, how it's really, really, really well acted. It's not something to watch if you want something really fast paced and with loads happening, but it's impeccably acted. You really care about the characters. You don't know where it's going to go all the time. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really, really well made movie. I'm not going to talk any more about it because I want to leave all the surprises that happen for you to view yourself, but I would thoroughly recommend that to any real avid movie lovers. You will enjoy that. On the 27th, the last one on here, The Social Dilemma. This is one you've probably heard a lot about on the telly at the moment. It's about social platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and it has a lot of ex-employees, very high-level ex-employees, breaking that sort of barrier of telling you what they're doing and what the plans are with their users and how they're manipulating us and how they suck us back in and how we're just little puppets in their design. And it's scary. It's scary. Let me see what it says. This documentary drama hybrid, because they put little bits throughout the documentary of a fake family, like experiencing the issues that it's talking about. Explores dangerous human impact of social networking with tech experts sounding the alarm on their own creations. Right, let me just stop that recording. So, people that used to work for like Twitter and other platforms have gone as far as saying they think that social media will eventually cause another world war. It's causing willful ignorance against especially the damage that's happening to the world, global warming, pollution. There are people out there that are stupid enough to believe that everything is like a government plot against us, that coronavirus is fake, that people are doing it just to keep us all in the house because something else is happening that they don't want us to know about. And some people believe that stuff because it's on social media. It even said things like, if me and say one of my friends or even my husband both went on a laptop, and you know the way when you type a question it finishes it for you? Now my thought pattern was always that it typed in what the most popular search was that started with those words. No. It takes into account your own personal browsing history and it will end that sentence with what it feels you want to read or is applicable to you. So me and Darren could type in the same few words and we would get completely different articles. Not only would we get different articles, we would get articles at the top of the list that sway us towards our own way of thinking, what we want to think, what we want to believe. So if you're a lefty, you'll get left sort of... I don't know if that is like on things like Google or if it's on social media platforms, I'm not sure. I would assume when they say you type in the sentence and it finishes, it means on search engines. But there's so much that you don't know about going on in social media. I use Facebook a bit to keep in touch with friends back on the mainland that I can't see. And obviously, you know, their children are growing up. I want to keep in touch. I don't email as much as I should because I do feel I do need to plug out from it sometimes, because I just, the pressure of, oh, you've got like 10 emails to reply to, it just, sometimes I just don't want to be sat on the internet all the time, and you answer something and then it's immediately replied to, which is obviously nice, but then you feel the pressure to reply again. So I don't check in with my email as often as I should. Apologies to you people that know that I don't. I do browse my timeline when I'm watching TV at night, but I stay out of Messenger because some people, like, the minute you go in there, some people see you're in there and start messaging you, and it's like, oh Christ, I only went in to answer this message that's been sat there for 2 weeks untouched. I deleted my Twitter. I don't use it. I don't like Twitter. I just don't like it. I have Instagram. I don't use it. The only reason I have Instagram is to post when I've done a new video. That's wrong, but I've got it just to post new videos when they come up. I don't, my favourite band use it a lot where they don't use other social media platforms, so I use it to check on like their timeline and to post my own videos. Other than that, I don't really use it, which you may say is selfish. That's what I use it for. If I didn't use it for that, I'd just delete it, because I just don't have time to scroll through 101 social medias every day. YouTube I use when I upload my videos. There are a certain small handful of channels I watch, admittedly not very many. Again, I did consciously take a big step back from immersing myself so much in an online world. This is all very, I'm talking to a bloody thing, I'm talking to you guys out there in an online world, but I think you have to get the measure right of sitting for hours and hours and hours, feeling obliged to reply and comment on all these different videos. And you can see when people feel the obligation to do that by the comment. They'll leave the same comment on 20 videos. Great video, nice video, great haul. You know, there'll be no specifics about something in the video. I find if I watch a video, I want to say something specifically about what was in the video that I enjoyed, or an item that a person purchased that I liked, or whatever, to show I've watched it, if nothing else. But when you get this great video, great haul, awesome video, the person hasn't watched it. If they had, they would have put something specifically about the video. So yeah, I'm trying to switch back a bit, but I'm trying to grow this channel a bit, which, you know, purely because I do like the interaction with people when I have it, but I want to have it on my terms and not when I feel forced to, which I have a lot in the past, which is why I had to dial it back a lot for different reasons. So yeah, that is, oh, another thing I watched this past month is Ratchet, which is on Netflix, which is incredible. Sarah Paulson of American Horror Story fame. This is written by the American Horror Story guys, and it's like American Horror Story when it was still good. I've been a bit disappointed with it the last few seasons. The Asylum was like my favourite season, but this is the origin story of Nurse Ratchet from the movie One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. You know, the horrible, nasty old nurse. Sarah Paulson plays her as a young nurse, and we get backstory, and it is fantastic. I would thoroughly recommend that to you. So yeah, I'll leave it there. I've rattled long enough. And thank you for watching, guys. Any recommendations, pop them below in the description. I want to say a massive thank you to people that still do watch, that even though I'm not as active as I was online, I really, really do appreciate those of you that do still watch and comment. It means the world to me, it really does. So thank you very much, and I shall see you next month with what I've watched in October. Over and out from Lacey Lives.